123, bullseye 4. It's a group. Looking. Got him at 8,000 feet. Showing 1,000 knots of closure.
The F-16 heralded a new era in military aviation.
2115 and 17,000.
Small, lightweight, and with 30,000 pounds of engine thrust at its disposal, the plane's graceful lines and sleek good looks provide a deceptive cover for the advanced aerodynamics and complex computerized weapon systems that equip the F-16. Considered by many to be the most maneuverable aircraft in operation, the plane's digital flight control system has the versatility needed to maintain top performance while achieving speeds in excess of 1,400 miles per hour.
Brake left, brake left.
Whether hunting down an adversary or engaging in air-to-ground combat, the F-16 was designed to give immediate response to pilot commands and changes in combat strategies.
Here comes a flare off the bandit.
To the men and women of the 127th Fighter Wing, the F-16 is a performance favorite. Its sophisticated technologies and high-speed mobility test the pilot's physical and mental abilities. It is a test of will, strength, and endurance.
John, possible contact over bullseye at 16. Bullseye 293 for 4. High aspect, high speed at 17,000. Deploy to the right. 20 miles.
Delivering a punch with pinpoint accuracy, outturning its adversaries, climbing straight up, accelerating to supersonic speeds in a heartbeat. These are the reasons why the F-16 continues to capture the hearts and imagination of pilots and civilians alike. Every fighter pilot in the 127th represents the best of the best, the cream of the crop. Backed by a dedicated team of technicians and ground personnel, both aviator and crew develop a brotherhood built on trust. For the pilot, his life rests in the hands of his squadron mates. To maintain a sense of battle readiness and preparation, pilots and crews continually train in mock combat scenarios. Air-to-air and air-to-ground exercises are daily rituals for the Selfridge Air National Guard Base in Michigan. For every F-16 pilot position, there are literally hundreds of applicants. All pilots must successfully complete a rigorous 2.5-year training program. They hope to fly what is considered by many to be the best lightweight fighter in the world today. A pilot's training never ends. His flying skills are evaluated continuously. The centrifuge at Halleman Air Force Base in New Mexico is used to test the pilot's ability to withstand G-lock, or the loss of consciousness due to the extreme G-forces encountered in flying the F-16. Once a month, every pilot checks his reaction to in-flight emergencies on the cockpit procedures trainer.
As an F-16 pilot, I've taken on the additional responsibility of weight training. Upper body strength is very important in a high-G environment and also an aerial combat arena. Weightlifting is very important in the modern-day fighter. The F-16 has the capability of sustaining 9 Gs at any given moment. My 180-pound body will weigh in excess of 1 ton under that type of condition. Therefore, you can see why weight training is very important for survival. Weightlifting gives me the combat edge.
In addition to physical training, the pilot wears a specially designed suit that maintains blood pressure in the upper head area while he is maneuvering in high Gs. Gs are a measurement of the Earth's gravitational pull. The centrifugal force felt during a turn or at high speeds creates an enormous pressure that acts upon the human body.
Primarily, the body is what's bothered by G-forces because it's a great amount of stress physically on your body, forcing you down into the seat. Your body weighs 8 or 9 times its normal weight, which for my case, I would weigh well over 1,200 pounds in a high G turn in a dogfight arena, which is an enormous weight. It feels like somebody parked the truck on your chest trying to breathe at that. So it takes a lot of physical effort to fly one of these, and you certainly get worked up as you would in any athletic event. So it's not a new thing, but they have new devices to counteract those forces acting on a human body in order to enable you to fight and fly on an airplane with such sophisticated performance as this without losing your vision or consciousness at high G levels.
The primary mission of the 127th TAC Fighter Wing is air-to-ground. That is, to provide support to friendly forces. But the F-16 is capable of air-to-air. The combination of the air-to-ground mission and the air-to-air mission can make for a very, very complex scenario. To train a fully combat-ready fighter pilot in the F-16 can take years and years and years. But just as important, it can take years and years to train the specialists who service the F-16. The crew chief, the avionics specialist, the weapons specialist. These people are the professionals who keep the F-16 flying. They're the true behind-the-scenes heroes, the unsung heroes. Because if the F-16 doesn't fly, we don't fight.
The skills and know-how of nearly 1,000 technicians and personnel of the 127th Fighter Wing keep 24 F-16s ready for flight. For every hour of flight, many hours of maintenance are required. And for every 150 hours of flight, every plane undergoes a complete inspection from nose to tail. The plane is literally taken apart and reassembled, a task that takes 2 weeks to perform. The ground crew's mission is critical. At Mach 1 plus speeds, every system and component must work perfectly. The 5-stage afterburning Pratt & Whitney engine must deliver its brute force upon command. The highly sophisticated avionics system must rely upon advanced computer controls to deliver the agile maneuvers that are the trademark of the F-16. Under these conditions, the F-16 pilot places a high level of confidence in the people who support his mission. Each F-16 is assigned a crew chief, and that aircraft is his responsibility. If a specialist is required, the crew chief works hand in hand with that specialist to ensure that the job is done right. It's their responsibility to maintain that aircraft inside and out. All systems must be checked prior to flight. The crew goes over all onboard computer systems and all hydraulic systems. Any problems that are detected must be corrected before that plane leaves the ground.
We have a program which we call a combat turn. During wartime conditions, what we do is when the aircraft returns from flight, we have 15 to 20 minutes to upload that aircraft with munitions, service it with fuel, and do an inspection on that aircraft to make sure it's airworthy. Nothing is more satisfying than to watch your aircraft break ground, the wheels go in the well, and to watch it soar to the sky.
One of the things that a lot of people aren't aware of is that when you fly for the National Guard, our backgrounds are varied. We have engineers, we have guys who fly for the airlines, we have people who are crop dusters, artists, writers, some guys that are even lawyers, and they come in here and give up their time a couple of times during the week, usually Wednesdays and Thursday evenings and on the weekends, to maintain their currency for flying the F-16. But we also have family lives just like everybody else, and hobbies, and we try to weave all these things together in order to meet our commitment to a strong American, a strong defense. Sometimes we even go on deployments for a couple of weeks at a time to make sure that we get the top-notch training so that we're always ready to defend the country at a moment's notice.
A typical day for us when we fly an F-16 mission begins approximately 2.5 hours prior to takeoff. There, we start planning for the mission. 2 hours prior to the flight, all members of the formation get together and talk about everything that's going to go on in the flight. There are quite a few different aspects of the flight that we have to discuss to make sure that we execute as a team. We talk about the tactics that we're going to employ in the target area, and by tactics I mean it's very similar to a football game plan, and it tells exactly how our airplanes are going to execute our attack and how we're going to deliver bombs on target on time.
With the help of computers, essential information such as weapon load, fuel load, takeoff and landing data, as well as the distance to the destination, are computed for every flight. A typical formation is 4 aircraft with 2 additional aircraft acting as air threats. For the 127th, a typical mission in an air-to-ground configuration consists of low-level flying at speeds of up to 500 knots and as low as 100 feet off the ground. Pilots fly toward a mock target at low levels for 40 to 50 minutes. In the case of the 127th Fighter Wing, a practice air-to-ground gunnery range is used to execute pre-planned tactics. When you realize that 500 knots is over 8 miles a minute, you can understand that successful training relies on intensive flight planning. Mission needs such as ordnance, tactics, and air refueling are all coordinated and then reviewed during the pre-flight briefing. High speeds leave little time for second-guessing in the air. A desire to break the rules and create a new generation of fighter aircraft were foremost on the minds of the people at General Dynamics and the designer, Harry Hilliker.
One of the interesting things about the F-16 that is at times appears to be a conflict or contradictory, where we were saying we were going to a simple lightweight airplane, is the fact that it incorporates and was a result of much advanced technology. And normally we use the excuse that one of the reasons that our vehicles, our weapons had become so expensive, so unreliable, is we incorporated too much technology, too much sophistication into them. It turns out on the F-16 we used advanced technologies to achieve our goals of lightweight, low cost, and high reliability while looking at technologies that are related to the characteristics that we were after. One of the reasons that we were able to be so successful and turn the airplane into the success it has is in those initial formulation phases, nobody was interested in this airplane. So we could sit back and do our thing without pressures, interferences, and the like on us. We did our home, as I say, we did our homework thoroughly. We weren't rushed, crushed, or pressed by the pressure of time. We were given a contract, if I remember correctly, $37.3 million is something there were about, written in a fashion that once we spent our $37.3 million, we could have taken the pieces and put them on a flatbed truck and said, okay, Mr. Air Force, here's what you got for your $37.3 million. Of course, we didn't do that, but the significance of that approach is that's what allowed us to take the risks associated with going with new advanced technologies like the fly-by-wire.
A pilot's preparation continues even when he gets into the cockpit. Once seated, the pilot immediately begins entering or typing flight data into the onboard computer. This includes entering the plane's present coordinates for the inertial navigation system and the type of weapons on board for the mission. With the flick of a switch, the F-16 pilot can instantly reconfigure onboard avionics from air-to-ground to air-to-air combat. Whether the target is on the ground or in the air, the F-16 brings awesome fighter power to its mission. Over 16,000 pounds of munitions can be carried on weapon stations beneath the wings and fuselage. For air-to-air combat, the F-16 carries AIM-9 heat-seeking Sidewinder missiles. For up-close dogfights and for ground strikes, there is also a computer-controlled 20mm cannon. Mission range on the F-16 is enhanced with the addition of external fuel tanks for a total cruising range of well over 2,000 miles. Keeping an eye on the action is one of the secrets to the survivability and the success of a fighter pilot. And that's why the F-16 puts the pilot in a state-of-the-art, high-technology cockpit.
Of course, the seat, the F-16 has a unique seat. It's reclined at 30 degrees, both the bottom and the back, to enable the pilot to withstand G's at a more comfortable level. So it's actually like sitting in a chase lounge, at least for a little while, until you become, until you experience a high G environment. But the seat is beneficial because of the recline angle. It's an ejection seat with a handle here. You can pull it at any speed or any altitude. The seat will take care of you, and the parachute's built right into the seat, so we can eject anywhere in any attitude, right side up or upside down, and safely eject out of the airplane. Some of the other things you see here, this is the throttle of the F-16. Some people call it the piccolo. It has about 8 different knobs on it, each of them doing different functions depending on the switches on the other side over by the throttle. These switches control air-to-ground and air-to-air weapons, radar, speed brake, and a microphone on the 2 radios that we do carry, as well as being a throttle itself. It slides forward and aft to initiate the thrust for the engine and the afterburner on the F-16. Along the left side of the airplane is flight control switches. The airplane's flown by a fly-by-wire computer, which means that computers are maneuvering the flight control surfaces, and the pilot control is acting through the computers with the stick over here. And there's an inboard computer here, navigation computer, that allows us to navigate without any use of radios on the ground, using the inertial navigation system. Communications radio, radar control panel, which controls the air-to-air and air-to-ground radar. It's excellent radar on both of those modes. This is a screen for it here.
I'm sure it was the first airplane that gave serious thought to the pilot's office, recognized that was his office and the like, and addressed the design to make an airplane that was compatible with the pilot's needs in situation awareness. That's the reason we have the nice bubble canopy to give him the visibility that he needs to determine how he stands in an engagement. The concept that we had with the seat to what we call the 30-degree tilt back, maybe a little bit of a misnomer in tilt back, but to design him a capability where we could give him a higher G tolerance than he would otherwise have. The side stick controller, where he could fly with a little more precision, would be determined on some centrifuge tests and the like, would be less susceptible to inadvertent feedbacks from high maneuver capability associated with that. So to address more things in the pilot's standpoint and perception that had ever been done before, while at the same time then making an airplane that would satisfy the capabilities, the cost, and reliability. It's an airplane that can do what the pilot wants it to do when he wants to.
Designed to accommodate pilot performance, the versatility and flexibility of this high-tech fighter allow the aviator to feel as if he is part of the aircraft. With eyes on the sky and hands on the throttle, the F-16 pilot brings a new dimension to the air combat arena.